trustee in the Feng Yifang Foundation. And the purpose of the Feng Yifang Scholarship Fund for Career and Technical Education is to support students who are not academically prepared or at the top of their class. And so the purpose is to really help these students, not only financially, but to also aid and help in their morale and to encourage them in their studies. So please help me welcome Mr. Chi to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ming Chi, and I'm the director for the Feng Yifang Foundation. Don't worry if you can't pronounce it right now. I had a hard time at first. When I was first asked to speak tonight, Malia Peters actually asked me to speak, and she's going to speak after me, but she's a wonderful woman that does all the scholarships for the UH system. And she asked me, hey, could you speak on at this scholarship reception? And I'm like, I'm not a traditional donor. I'm actually not even the donor. I just represent the donor and his foundation. I'm not a professor or a teacher who's taught here for years and is donating my house or something. Or I'm not this great MBA student that makes multi-million dollars and has a school named after me. So I felt really weird because I'm not your traditional donor speaker. But she twisted my arm over the phone, and here I am. I wanted to talk about our donor, Mr. Peter Fawn. He was not your typical donor. He's not your typical person. Many would have considered him a Renaissance man. He was very talented. He composed music, orchestra music, and he actually went to Russia to have one of the orchestras there play his music. And I think my mom went there too with them. And he wrote a lot of essays and journal pieces on philosophy and on modern Buddhism in Taiwan. So in Taiwan, he was well known as like this prolific writer, just about life, about living well, about the values that he had. He was a very close family friend. He's known my family for a long time. And growing up, I've always seen him, but I never really took the time to really get to know him. When he was closer to the end of his life, he kept asking me, I was at law school at the time, he's like, Xiaoming, come talk to me. We need to talk, we need to talk. When you graduate, let's talk. And we kept postponing and procrastinating, and next thing you know, he was actually in the hospital, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And for those of you who do know the disease, once you get it, you start going out really quick. So he was able to grab me when I saw him at the hospital, and he just pulled me aside and said, we need to get my will done, because this is very important for me. So we worked it out. Like I said earlier, he's not your typical donor. A lot of times when you think of the term donor, especially like these angel donors who come out of nowhere with a lot of wealth and a lot of money, you think they're these rich, like Hollywood types or businessmen. He wasn't. He was a very humble man who wore very plain clothes. He didn't drive. A lot of times I'd see him on the road. He actually lived near our home, my parents' home. So growing up, I'd see him, I'd give him a ride. He didn't have a car. He wore like these cloth Chinese shoes and like the lighter qihao clothing for like really traditional Chinese clothes. He walked everywhere. He had a little basket that he had his food in. And then one day he confessed to me when he had an indulgence in something. He over-splurged. So he confessed to me like, Bang, I feel really bad. I ate too many mangoes. And that was him splurging. Over the course of his life, because of all the work he's done, all the essays and the journals, he accumulated a lot of wealth. And my folks helped him invest his money. And he's not a man that spends a lot of money. When I went to his home after he had passed away, he had this big safe. And we're like wondering, oh, what's in the safe? Is it like gold bars or something? Jewels? When we opened it up, it was some of his notes for his music and just some of his handwritten journals. And that was it. And that's what, to me, he treasured. That was what was really important to him. And so when he was coming close to the end of his life, he really wanted to honor his mother, Feng Yifang. And he wanted a foundation named after her to help people that were in her place when she was raising him when he was just a young child. Ms. Fong was a single mother. She grew up, well, she was in China with Peter, and he considered her someone who was like a concubine slave to a household. She was illiterate. She did a lot of blue-collar work, anything she could to just work with her hands to make money to support him. He actually went through Catholic school as a child because she was able to put in all this time, all this energy, doing everything she could to support her son in his education. So he was thinking that he really wanted to honor her and to help support and encourage people in her place or similar to her place. The intent of the scholarship, as Dean Ho mentioned, is to help support people that might not come from the traditional background homes where they have funds or they have money. You know, they might have get a lot of scholarships because they're really smart. Peter understood and recognized that a lot of times in life there's difficulties. He wanted a preference for single parents for the scholarship, but if you're not a single parent, that's fine too. A preference for folks who come from a background of financial need. And he also really explicitly told me he didn't want scholarships for the top students because they get scholarships more easily than those guys that are in the middle tier. And to me, it reminded me a lot of his mother when he talked to me about who his mother was and what she did and what she went through. So he really wanted to support students that do have these disadvantages as we view them, so that they could be encouraged and that they could have a little respite in terms of funding. And he recognized that because of these disadvantages, the grades might not always be like A's or plus 90% or on the top. So that's the Fong Yifang Foundation and a little background on Mr. Peter Fong and his life. Really want to encourage all our educators here and our administrators to keep doing what you guys are doing, because for Peter, to him, education was really important. That's what helped build his building blocks to be successful to where he got to the point in his life. To the donors, keep on blessing the students. And also know that when you're supporting, especially HCC, you're also supporting a lot of infrastructure for our state, because this institution builds a lot of our carpenters, our plumbers, firefighters, our mechanics, our airplane mechanics. So I found that out recently. It's just really amazing what happens here on this campus, which was exactly what Peter wanted to help support. And to our students that are here tonight, just wanted to encourage you guys to let you know that there are these angel donors that are out there, these mysterious people that kind of come out of nowhere that are able to donate their wealth and their funds to you guys. For Peter, whereas his journey ended, he really wanted to bless those that are beginning their journeys in their new careers. And as you are on your journey as students, as educators, just continually remember where you came from and recognize your roots and your past, so that you too can go and bless those that come in the future after you. So again, thank you guys so much, and thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So our last speaker tonight, I'm pleased to introduce Malia Peters, who is the UH Foundation Director of Scholarships. And welcome her to the podium to say a few words.
Hi, nice to see you. Now we know you're an artist. So I've seen him, but I didn't see him tonight. Gosh, that is a tough act to follow. I'm just so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful that you folks get to hear these stories, because we can tell you a million of them, but for you to hear them yourself, I hope that your heart was tugged a little bit like ours constantly is, because every scholarship account that we're administering at the UH Foundation has a great story like that behind it. there's passion, there's belief in education, and just belief in the students and the transformation that they know education is going to make in their lives. So, gosh, that is a really tough act to follow. Thank you both so much for sharing those wonderful stories. And yeah, I mean, if we can have a place to drop our car off, like while we're at work, that would be really awesome. We're trying to multitask all the time.
Is that I've just noticed has a shuttle.
Oh, see? Ask and you shall receive. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Malia Peters. I'm the Director of Scholarship Development at the UH Foundation. And it's such a pleasure to be here at this campus and meet so many of the students and faculty who are here, and a lot of the donors who I'm meeting for the first time. It's just been a pleasure. I tried to get around to every table tonight, and hopefully afterwards I'll have some time as well.